Hi everybody, Dr. Cobb back with you. Today we're going to talk about using brain science to more quickly improve your mobility and flexibility. So if you're going to follow along with us, this is part one. What I want you to do is write down this phrase as something to remember all week. Every movement has a goal. All right, I'll say that again. Every movement has a goal. Now, why this is super important is this is what we're learning about the human brain. You can have two ways of moving. All right, if I'm working on my shoulder flexibility, which is what we're going to be testing here in just a minute, most people, when they're working on improving their flexibility, are thinking about what they feel. They're thinking about, that shoulder and the stretch that they feel. That would be called an internal focus. Now, the way that our brain works, though, is that if every movement has a goal, really, our brain is designed to operate on the external world, not the internal world. And so what we see is that people that always have, and I'll say that again, always have an internal focus on their own movement, especially over time, have more problems with mobility flexibility, and as athletes, they don't perform as well, particularly under stress. And this comes from a lot of motor learning research. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this little trick of the human brain to quickly improve your range of motion. So I'm going to show you just a quick example, even on myself. Even knowing this, it still works, which is very cool to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn sideways, and we're going to work on my left shoulder in this motion, okay? So I'm going to, and it's already warmed up because this is the second or third time I've shot this because I apparently can't talk today. I'm going to just go ahead and start here and take my arm back as far as I can, and I'm going to do that 3 or 4 times so that it's nice and warmed up, and I am trying to keep my body here, and I'm reaching as far as I can. It feels tight, it feels uncomfortable at that point. And that is my internal focus. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through that same motion here. Okay, that's where it feels tight, and I'm going to mark that on the board. Okay, and then I'll retest that. So that's about where my hand goes. Now I'm going to do my little brain trick. I'm going to put a dot here. I'm going to now move to an external focus, because I'm now telling my brain, hey, I don't want you to just stretch the inside, I want you to get to that other point. So I'm going to look back, I'm going to see it, bring my arm up, check it again, and I'm going to reach for that dot. Oh, that was way better. Okay? Now, even if I try to not let my body rotate even further, meaning I'm actually making this harder on myself, if I'm reaching for that dot, I'm still much better. Now, this is, as I said, something that I've used for a long time with clients, people that have shoulder problems or knee problems or whatever, because very often, I can't bend my knee, we get internal in the knee and we focus on the knee and we focus on the knee. So, one of the goals or one of the ideas that you can take away from this blog is set external targets that you need to reach for anywhere you lack mobility or flexibility. All right? If you do this and you find that you respond really well to it, danger of the cat. If you respond really well to it, what I want you to do is plan to do your mobility work using that external focus or external target 5 times a day, 5 to 10 reps. All right? This is another thing that we're learning about flexibility, mobility, not only improvement but maintenance, is that we need a lot of repetition in the beginning. So if you can plan on 5 to 10 reps, 5 times a day for 4 weeks, there's a really good chance you can start to cement that newfound range of motion and keep it with just a little bit of maintenance work from time to time. So there's our very first blog, part 1, on utilizing an external versus an internal focus to improve your mobility and flexibility. If you have questions about this or need to have any advice on whatever you have going on, please let us know. Otherwise, I would love to get your feedback on how this works for you. Thanks. Completely ran out of words. Wow, just total blank.
So, well, big gulps, huh?
And I'm out. Okay.
Band drop.
Where do I...